The unicorn is in. I will answer any type of question pertaining to the metaphysical, the spiritual, the paranormal, and the mystical. However, there are two types of questions that I do not answer. That is whether or not someone is going to die or whether or not someone is cheating on someone. If you have those questions, you should deal with the person that you're asking about. Beyond that, anything is fair game, as long as it's positive and doesn't have to do with insulting people and stuff like that. Okay, so the unicorn is in. Ask your questions.
Okay, the first question that we have comes from Justin. Justin says, I was there to see you in August last year. My dream was to return to live in Thailand. The unicorn pulled the star card saying it was the wish card. I am no closer to getting my wish, but feel my luck is changing. When do you think my wish will be fulfilled? Can you give me a date to put on the calendar?
I can't give you a date to put on a calendar because when you move there is basically up to you. Now the opportunity is valid and it's still there. And if you feel that your luck is changing, then you must have done something that would put you in that stream of energy. Keep your luck positive, okay? And then just make a decision. You know, a lot of times what we'll do is we'll depend on fate to make something happen, but you really don't want to wait for fate because fate could make something happen that you don't want to. It's better that you make a decision that this is where I'm going to go and this is what I'm going to do to get there. Okay, so I'm telling you that the road is clear. You just have to manifest what you need to go there and don't hem and haw about it. Don't think about whether it's the right time. Don't think about whether you have enough money. If you know that your destiny is supposed to be there, then go for it. The universe will take care of you once you get there. That means that you're going to have to do something. No, $1 million is not going to drop out of the sky onto your lap. If it does, let me know because I want to try what you did. But you can get there. It just comes down to what you're willing to manifest in your life or what you're willing to allow to be manifested in your life. The star card basically tells you to let go of things, okay, as well. If you did draw the star card, then that's telling you that you have good fortune on your way, but you're going to have to allow other things to go away and focus on that one thing. And that by your not being there, it tells me that you did not focus on just getting to Thailand. However, if you do it this time, the road is still there. The option is still there for you. Hope that helps you out. Next.
He has another question. He says, when living in Thailand, he learned about a concept of sharing merit with spirits, people who have passed over and so forth. Okay. He says, I have made it a point to share my spiritual merit every day with all beings. Do they really receive my blessings? I also share my merit with everyone participating in this program. May good fortune come to you all.
Yes, they do receive your positivity. Okay, and that's a very good thought that you have there to do that. It's a very noble thing. You know, remember, those that have passed on do still have a different type of a life. They may not have a body, but they still exist, and your blessings do help them. Your positive thoughts do help them. Okay. Good idea.
Yeah, it is a good idea. We have shout outs to Vasu, Tavari, and Stephanie.
Hello, people.
And Miyoko is also on.
Welcome, everyone. I'm glad you all could attend this evening. We're getting to a point where it's imperative that we all start thinking about our spiritual lives. Okay, really start thinking about our spiritual lives. Now let me preface that by saying I did not say think about your religious life. I said life. I said think about your spiritual life. Remember, spirituality is reality, and that's reality on every single level. You know, we talk a lot about the mystical. We talk a lot about the paranormal and the metaphysical. The spiritual realm or the spiritual life is that which kind of transcends all of them or goes through all of them. And that's something that you have to constantly think about because look at the state that our world is in right now. The world in and of itself is in a perfect state. However, we as human beings are doing anything and everything that we possibly can to screw ourselves and everybody else up. You know, so it's really important that we decide that we are going to develop ourselves spiritually. You know, it's very, very important. If there's some things that you've been thinking about doing on a spiritual level, then my suggestion is for you to go ahead and do them now. Build your spiritual life up. Do those things in your life right now that you have thought about doing. Don't sit and wait for the perfect time, because listen, there's only one perfect time, and that's when you think to do something. I need to teach you people about patience. You think that patience is waiting for something. Patience is never waiting. Patience is taking one step at a time until you reach your goal, just making sure that you're deliberately and consciously taking those steps. You're talking about, well, I have to wait for this and I have to wait. No, you don't. Just get up and do something. Do something. Do something. You don't have a whole lot. Get a little pen that says, get something that symbolizes your goal so that you're constantly thinking about it, and do those little things that need to be done in order for you to accomplish that goal. If you really want to be good at something, then you have to put in the time. It's not just going to all of a sudden happen. And even if it does all of a sudden happen, there'll still be stages of perfection. So do something. Do something towards your goal. And don't let other people talk you out of it. Geez, I have listened to, or I've listened to, and I've seen in different, I don't know what they call things like Facebook and stuff, like social media or public media or just tomfoolery. People that have advice from every single walk of life that they have not experienced or not even come close. Listen, if you want to be perfect at something, or you want to be good at something, you have to apply one thing, and that's called practice. No matter what you do, it all comes down to practice, practice, practice. Do what it is that you want to be really, really good at, and the energy will start to support you. Not only will it support you, it'll start to advance you. If you want to go somewhere in your life, then start doing everything possible to be able to go there. But you have to be smart about it. Don't go around telling everybody your plans. Just do it. Because the moment that you tell somebody your plans, I guarantee you they're going to try to figure out a way to talk you out of it. And you can't be going around talking about your stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Like that.
Sorry. I'm just saying, listen, there's something that you really want to do that you feel so impassioned about doing. You can feel it, you can taste it. You need time to let that incubate within you. You know what I mean? You need time to allow that to grow in you so that you become that which you want. You can't just go, well, I'm going to do this and go trotting off someplace. You know how many people that listen, I grew up in California. My hangout was Hollywood. Do you know how many people out there are looking to be discovered? How many people out there are very, very talented that go out there hoping that some movie director or some production company is going to sweep them up and say, hey, Miss Actor, Miss Person, I want to put you in a movie. Do you know how many people walk around like that out there? Millions. Millions. Okay? Millions. So when I hear someone, I'm gonna go to California, I'm gonna become a star.
Star among stars.
Well, good luck. Good luck. There's a lot of stars. If you really want to do something, then find a way to promote that thing which stands out about you. Okay? What's different from you? What's different about you from everybody else out there? 9 times out of 10, you'll be talking to someone famous and not even know it out there. And that's just the truth. How do I know this? Because I did it for years. Yes, me, Mr. Telepath, man, couldn't tell when I was speaking to a celebrity. I guess I really didn't care, but all the same, I met wonderful people. I met Carl Withers, I met Freddie Mercury, I met Queen Latifah, I met all these beautiful people. And as far as I was concerned, they were just people, so I talked to them like people. Talked to Carl Withers for like 2 weeks straight, every day going to work. And I say, yeah, you look like that guy Carl Withers. He says, yeah, I get that a lot. I think he's a little taller than me. And then finally it dawned on me, okay, they never look like they do on television. I mean, in the movies, they look bigger, and he's, real in shape guy. It finally dawned on me. I danced with someone else for like a half an hour and didn't know that I did. So you can't have illusions. Your illusions will all be shattered if you think you're going to go someplace and all of a sudden become a star. I know people that are still 10 years later trying to get a demo together because they're fooling around with people. If you want to get a demo together, then do the demo. Doggone it, just do it. You want to make a film? Make your film. You want to dance? Then dance. Dance, seriously. And then find other people who can dance. Okay? All you people waiting around for certifications, waste of time. Waste of time. Okay? Do something. Do anything. Look, I am a baker. I'm a really good baker among 1,000 other things. Okay? I have to do like Donald Trump. Yeah, I'm a really good baker. I bake really good things. I can really, really bake. Okay? I'm just
Don't ever do that again.
I'm just saying.
No.
But I decided that I was going to bake. I've been baking since I was a child. So I did. I baked, and I baked, and I baked, and then finally I opened a bakery. And people who've gone to fancy culinary schools come and ask me questions about how I do things because they can't do it. It's time for us to start developing ourselves spiritually. And spiritual means real. Okay? You have something you want to do in your life. You want to be someplace in your life. Go. 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 Don't wait for people to approve you. Just go. And for God's sake, could you not put it on Facebook? Seriously. You have a project you're working on that's in the makings and you need support, great. Go ahead and do that. But if you're going to go someplace and become something or be something, or you're going to, to develop yourself as an artist, you don't have to put that on Facebook. You get a bunch of people who that really don't give a damn. Seriously. You want to develop yourself spiritually, then find people who are spiritually developed. Find people who are spiritually developed. If you want to do things like child counseling, then go to people who are child counselors that have children. Okay? You want to go to a marriage counselor? Go to someone who is married. Okay? That is a marriage counselor. You want to have someone that can show you how to train dogs? Go to someone that has great dogs. Okay? It's really quite simple. It really is. We need to start depending on ourselves and not the system. Do you hear what I'm saying? I hope you do. I really hope you do. Okay, anyway, that's enough of me ranting.
Justin says I posted a photo of my house in Thailand. I took $1 and turned it into $1 million. Every day I reflect this is out there and it's coming to me, and I have played Lucky for Life every day.
Okay, good. That's good. Now make it happen. Make it happen. Get over to Thailand. It'll happen for you. You just got to take a shot.
Do it.
Stop being safe. Do it.
Just do it.
Okay. I sent someone over to Italy, that wanted to live in Italy, and now she's going to school in Italy, What she does from that point, it's up to her. But you have to go there. You can't tell me how you want to live someplace, and then, you're waiting for something else to happen. You just have to go for the opportunity when you get the opportunity. But if you want to develop a craft, you better develop your craft. Because when you get there and you're supposed to have developed your craft, and you'll see other people that have developed their craft, you're going to feel really funny.
You what?
You're going to feel really funny. Just telling you. Okay? All right. Anything else?
We have a shout out to Michelle and Carrie. Hi guys.
Hello, Michelle and Carrie. How are you?
Carrie.
Which one?
Michelle?
Michelle.
I yacht.
Oh, hi, Michelle. How are you doing? Hey, we need to talk.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like doing that. Yeah.
Who's Carrie? Which Carrie?
Which Carrie is on?
I have a few Carries.
He is asking.
Oh, is it my Carrie?
Carrie.
Carrie. Yeah.
Carrie.
My Carrie.
Blonde Carrie.
Yes, my Carrie.
Whatever. That
Carrie I've known since she was just a little girl.
Yes, that Carrie.
Yes.
I think that's that Carrie. I don't know.
Well, it's good to see you.
And
or not see you.
Facebook friend, she thinks. We don't know which Carrie. Okay, which Carrie? We don't know which Carrie.
Well, whoever you are, welcome to the show.
And Rebecca is on too. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Rebecca. How you doing?
It just says
okay, you guys have to have questions for me. I realize that you love seeing my beautiful face and hearing my magnificent voice, but it would be a lot better if you ask me some questions so I can answer them for you.
It is Carrie. Carrie number 1.
I know it was Carrie.
Carrie number 1.
I know that.
She's the only Carrie I know.
Okay, see, I know that already. Okay, never mind.
There's a delay between us.
She does not realize that I am the great and powerful Oz.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You can't even tell when you're getting slimed.
I don't think about stuff like that. That's ridiculous.
So,
but I can tell when it's one of my people. All I have to do is wait a second, and knowledge comes. And it did.
Jew says hi. Hi, Jew.
Hi, Jew. Okay, what questions have you all for me?
No questions.
Okay, listen.
Last dude has one. Woo! She always has one. Okay. She says, I will go for one. Recently, I started reading up on spiritual grandiosity. How will I be able to identify it if it is happening to me?
Well, it's really hard to recognize when it happens to you because
What is spiritual grandiosity?
Spiritual grandiosity. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I think spiritual grandiosity is. Yes. Is when you blow things up to major proportions when, just to suit yourself.
How spiritual somebody is?
Yeah, how spiritual they are.
Like New Agey?
Well, that too.
Airy fairy.
Yeah, airy fairy. That's, people who are totally airy fairy about things, the feather touches the stone and, things like that. Just very pompous. It's like, oh, well, I've attended 2,000 seminars and I've practiced sushi. And
oh, I love sushi. I want to practice sushi daily. Can you practice sushi?
Well, if it's happening to you, then you'll lose touch with yourself. That's sushi. How. Let me answer your question first. You can tell you'll lose your own identity, and you'll start, worrying too much about everybody else's identity and how they view you. It really doesn't matter how anybody views you, except for the universe. So, the spiritual grandiosity in my thoughts can be a lot. I mean, there are people who are way too serious about their evolution or how evolved they actually are. Listen, you live on Earth. You're only so evolved that you still have to sit on the toilet. Okay, which pretty much means that even though you may be very evolved or advanced in your thought and your body and so forth, you still are the same equal with the rest of us, so anytime you forget that you're equal with everyone else and that they just have differences of expression is when you're becoming grandiose. Other than that, you can be however you choose. Just remember, we all are one, and that's the truth. Or we are all one, however you choose. One, we all are. However you choose to say it, just remember.
You sound like Yoda when you say it that way.
Young I was, yet the money I did. Just don't take stuff too seriously. Seriously, just don't take stuff too seriously. Understand that we're all fallible, even you, even all of us, no matter how grand we are. How evolved is that we are, how many different languages we learn to speak, how many different spiritual accomplishments that we make. We are still in human form, and we need this form in order to accomplish a lot of things. Okay, so that's how. If you lose touch of that, you're being too grandiose.
Juice says, so good to see you.
You too.
And Rebecca says, sorry if I'm lagging behind. One question I have is, what is deja vu? Does it have a purpose and does it mean anything?
Yes, it means a lot. When you have those moments of deja vu, it's because you and another version of yourself from a lateral life or a different dimension are coming extremely close to each other. In many cases, you can swap. However, because it is you and they are all you, the swap can be so clean and so smooth that you may only perceive it in a thought. Okay, but believe you me, there are not only past lives of you, there are future lives of you, and there are lateral lives of you. And perhaps that other you has something that you need in this particular existence, and you actually swap, and you have something that that person needs in that existence. That's why you always have the feeling that something happened that really, really happened. It's not just a memory flaw. It's not a click. It's not a glitch in the system. It is a perfect mechanism happening. You are actually coming very close with another you. Listen, that brings me to another point that I've heard someone talking about doppelgangers. Listen, I know doppelgangers. Okay, I know much about them, but you have to understand that there's a reason that you are separated from the others of you that are you. And that could be billions upon billions upon billions. Who knows? You know, it just keeps growing because the universe keeps growing. The possibilities keep growing. Probability keeps growing, which basically means that versions of who you are keep going. But if even one of you, or excuse me, if even two of you met at the same time in the same physical plane in the same moment, you would merge. That's amazing, and it's really fantastic, and it sounds like something from a sci-fi flick, but it's the absolute truth. You would merge, and you know what that would do? That would cause a chain reaction. Your vibration simultaneously would get so high that you could not exist on this plane. You would have to shift planes, which basically means all of you would shift to a totally different existence, which have absolutely nothing to do with this existence. So when you're experiencing deja vu, that kind of funny feeling that you get, like your world just turned sideways, is because that possibility is happening. You're a little too close to your other self. And that merge kind of happens. You know, it's just kind of a weird feeling. And you always get this really creepy feeling. You know, people who are really trying to be brave about it and trying to be cool about it say, oh, deja vu, neat. But, you know, they feel the same thing that you do, which is queasy. So what? Well, the purpose of it is so that you can handle something that you may not be able to handle in another dimensional life, which you will never really know about because hopefully those dimensional curtains will stay separated to yourselves. But you can switch info.
How?
The way that it happens is because consciousness is all one. All of your consciousnesses are the same. When you have an evolved thought, or a thought that is that eureka moment, is because one of you has that thought and you heard it. And it is you, so it doesn't seem separate from you. Why? Because it's not separate. Remember, we all share a collective consciousness, and you just happen to get something from the collective consciousness that is you. Okay? So you may need that exact thing. It's the same thing done. And okay. An evolved version of deja vu is what we call a walk-in. Do you understand? A walk-in is when the entire consciousness of a person shifts into another version of itself. And that other version goes back to where that consciousness came from. It's really funny to try to explain, but I'll do my best. You may be going through an incredibly traumatic part of your life at that particular moment that you would not be able to handle. Yet another version of yourself, which happens to be very close to you, could handle it. So the universe does this neat thing. It switches you. And all of a sudden you come back and you're you, but you're different. Your thoughts are different. You feel different. Everything about you is absolutely different, yet you are still the same person simultaneously. And all of your friends start saying, you know, since this happened to you, you're like totally different. I don't even know you anymore, which is absolutely the truth because they don't know that particular version of yourself. but it is a valid you. You have not been taken over by somebody else. You have merely been taken over by you because you couldn't handle it. And you, that was you before, is someplace else doing what it can do until which time it's okay to switch again.
Oh, so there's a switch back.
Sometimes. Sometimes not. If the task hasn't been done, no. But there is a reason for it. There's a reason for your deja vu. And your deja vu can happen in many, many different times. It's because there are things that are happening with all of you that are very, very important to you. Now, here's a neat thing. You could actually go back and visit a version of yourself. But it would have to be younger or older. It could not be you, like if all of a sudden you walked in and you walk through the door, I would hold you this way and I'd make that person leave, because by then there would already be a reaction. And believe me, I'll come really, really close to it. Really close to it.
Yeah, that was
okay. Really close to it.
odd.
And it was not cool. Okay.
We should share this story.
Well, perhaps another time.
Okay.
But I just wanted to let you know that there's a reason for your deja vu. It's not creepy. Maybe something bad happened before, and this time something is averted so that it doesn't happen. So that deja vu thing happening, you feel like, okay, I feel something really creepy, but then all of a sudden you're clear. It's because there was a switch that was done, and that switch may not even be between you physically and another you. It could be between another you that happens to be very close in dimensionality to you and another one of you still. But you'll still feel it because they're all you.
It's like The One by Jet Li.
Kind of.
Jet Li's The One.
Yeah, kind of, but yeah. Not really. Not really, because if you went and visited another one of him, all of a sudden he wouldn't exist. So I hope that helps you out. It's a long explanation, and I'm sorry, but I'm incredibly long-winded.
Okay. Let me see here. Justin says, I play the lottery every day. Do I have any chance of winning? I feel something telling me I can win. Maybe I'm just being silly.
You have the same chance of winning that everybody else does. I don't do that. Even I don't play the lottery.
Natalia is on. Hi.
Hi.
We have a question from Juliana.
Okay.
She says, I'd like to ask about how synchrony works. I mean, synchronicity. She says, I mean, when we always get to see the same number, the same person, same word, how does this work and why?
Well, like I just finished explaining, there are many different dimensions of yourself, and sometimes you click into another type of a dimensionality. It's when something is trying to happen, but it needs you to be in a certain place at a certain time. And that's when you'll see a certain number to remind you that you're supposed to be someplace, or it's trying to lead you to someplace. Like all of these people that saw 1111, and I see a lot. But since I'm a numerologist, I understand the numbers. But you get a person that says, well, I see 7 every single day, or I see 24 every single day. Well, immediately I start doing the math. 24, which is 6, which basically means that something is going on with your family. Okay, but we have to determine what's going on with your family. Numbers are always to tell you something. If you see a certain color repetitively, that means that there's something that you need to deal with. There's something that you need to deal with that will either assist you or could hurt you. But we have to determine the nature of that, and we can only determine the nature if you're paying attention. The next time you go a certain length of time saying the same number over and over and over and over and over again, think about what that could mean. And as for you, Justin, it could mean that's a number that you might need to play. Just a thought. I don't give out numbers. Don't even tell people that they're going to win. Can't do that. Okay, because if I do that, then if you were going to win, it might change something. Okay, so remember, numbers, symbols, even if you happen to walk past a place and the same exact thing happens every single day, that means the universe is trying to show you something. pay attention. It may not be that there was a hat that fell on the floor. It's that it was a certain type of hat that fell on the floor. Or maybe it was a certain color hat that fell on the floor. Or maybe that there was a certain hat that fell in that particular spot on the floor. You have to take all of this into consideration. You can't just say, well, I see 1111 every single day. Well, or I see 24 and I keep seeing 24. Well, what time of the day was it that you saw 24? Was it 11:11 p.m. or 11:11 a.m.? Was it 11 o'clock and 11 seconds? You really have to take all of this into consideration. I realize that it seems very complicated, but look, there are so many stars in the sky, and if you spend all day, all night trying to count the stars, it could drive you crazy. However, you really need to think about the possibilities of what it is that you're trying to see, or what the universe is trying to show you. Let's say that you keep seeing orange. Okay, no matter where you go, you're seeing orange. Orange stands out, orange stands out, orange stands out. Remember what orange represents. Orange represents your third circuit, which also represents dynamic movement, enthusiasm, action, and focus. So you have all of those things, right? That orange represents. What is it that you need to focus on? What's happening with your energy? It's a third circuit energy, which basically means that you're dealing with something of a psychic imprint. Okay, your third circuit, which is called your Manipura, which has to do with all of your movement and all of your interaction and all that good stuff. Well, what is it that's trying to be shown right there? Is it something you're feeling? Is it, excuse me, is it something you are dealing with on a psychic level, or is there something in your body that needs to get moving? Most of the time, when a person tells me, I keep seeing orange and I keep seeing orange, so I have to ask them what it is that they're doing as far as exercise and movement, who they've been talking to. Okay, because that's the psychic circuit, and it's also your movement circuit. So it's either your head or your body that needs some work. So what is it we need to deal with? Okay, I get them to do an exercise program. If they're already on an exercise program, then that probably means that their energy is nice and high. Okay, so you have to take all of these things into consideration. If you actually did, you would spend a lot more time actually talking to yourself so that you can figure out certain things rather than to do things like ask everybody else their opinions, because we're all full of opinions. But if you took the time to say, okay, I keep seeing this particular color orange, what am I doing? I haven't exercised in weeks. Well, basically that's your body saying, okay, dude, seriously, you look like Mr. Stay Puft. Get up and exercise. Okay? Or maybe there's something that you're dealing with at work, and then we have to go to the dynamic portion of orange, which says, okay, there's a dynamic of work that is either working or it's not working, and we need to address it. Or maybe you're just not very enthusiastic about a lot of things. You have to take all of these into consideration, but this is how you use your mind. This is how you constantly use your mind, and if you're constantly using your mind, then your mind will work for you. Do things that are going to stimulate your mind. And don't make mistakes, okay, as telling yourself, well, this isn't going to stimulate my mind. It may be the very thing that does stimulate your mind. For instance, I play video games. I'm quite good at it, okay? I love video games. I hear people all the time say, oh, it's just a waste of time. Screw you, dude. It's not a waste of time. It's something that actually helps me. And I've had people sit up and talk about, they don't give you any mental challenge. I say, fine, then you do it.
Oh, they don't know. They haven't played games.
And they don't know what they're talking about. So what you have to do is decide to be you. What is it that little dwarfy guy says? You be you.
Huh?
This is Kevin Johnson. Guy almost dumped on his head.
Kevin Hart?
Kevin Hart. Yeah, I didn't do Kevin Johnson. It was Kevin Hart. And, you be you, because I'm going to be me. And he's right about that. Be you. Don't be somebody else. Be yourself. Just thought. Next.
Let's see. We have
what do we have? I'd like to thank you all for coming this evening. I know there's been a while since we did the show, but I just had to take care of some other things, and they're taken care of. So now I'm doing the show again.
Okay, we have, let's see. Rebecca says, in regards to your explanation of deja vu, wow, that's a great explanation. Thank you, and yes.
Awesome.
And she says that makes so much sense. It's not even funny. And Vasu says yes.
Good.
Natalia has a question.
Certainly.
Great to see you and
How you doing, little girl?
She says, great to see you and Kazi. Greetings to the missus. I need some rose bread, right? That was good stuff.
Yeah.
I have a gift of taking pain from people. I'm practicing absorbing it and releasing it to the universe as positivity. I use a singing bowl until I vibrate. Is it dangerous that I'm taking my people's ailments, anxiety, and stress? It completely removes their pain, and it seems so helpful.
That's great, but you have to think about what it's doing to you. Just you said that you're releasing it, which is good. Okay, just make sure that you release all of it. Okay, being an empath is a challenging thing. As a telepath, I can feel what I want to feel, but I've been trained in how to do that, how to just shut off all of that sensation and feeling part so that I can get the full experience. You have to watch for those things that may be a little sticky, because there are some psychic imprints that are very, very sticky, and they will cling to you. Okay, because if that person is going through a certain amount of pain and they're unwilling to do something about it, what you're doing basically is enabling them because they see you as a constant source of relief. So what you might want to do is at the same time that you are, doing the helping them, is you need to tell them, listen, if I have to take this back, if I have to take this again, then obviously you're doing something that's making you this way, and I can't go on doing that. See, remember, we that are helpers, we do have gifts, and those gifts are to be used in the service of the universe to help the universe's children. However, you have to keep in mind that you are also fighting darkness. You are fighting the negative force. And if you get in and out of the negative place without being seen, which is what you want to do, wonderful, because I have to all the time. However, remember that if you keep treading the same road over and over and over and over again, eventually the enemy is going to see you. And they will see that other person's mark on you. And remember that other person's mark is slower than you are. So remember, don't enable people to just go out and get hurt and then come to you. Make sure that you're making them know that I've taken this from you. You don't need to be around this person and that person. You don't need to do this again, and don't do this again. Because if you do, you keep doing it, you're on your own. Okay? So that way you're protecting your energy. Another thing that you might do, and it sounds like you're using the singing bowl in the way that it should be used. Make sure that after every single thing that you do, you're washing all of that vibration off of you, okay? And also off of your bowl, okay? And that should give you some more protection. There's a lot more to learn, but that's a good start. Hope that helps you.
Nadine says, I'm constantly seeing 108 everywhere in my email box, on a clock, in the car, on the speedometer. Constantly 108. What is the universe trying to tell me?
That you need to use meditation more. And I think that we've discussed that before. 108 times meditation, which is what a Buddhist method of using the beads, meditation, 108 times. So you figure 18.9, which is actually self-realization, which is also revelation. Which tells you, it's really funny because that's also orange, and we know that your body's energy is going through some dynamics lately. So we need to really concentrate on the repetition of things, of your disciplines. Do them until they're done, 108 times. If there's something that you're supposed to be meditating on, if there's a certain mantra that you're supposed to speak, or if there's a certain prayer that you're supposed to do a certain amount of times, do it the 108 times because it will work. Don't just do it a bunch of times and say, oh, I've done this. And I'm going to, do it later. Just sit there and do it. Do it. Do what you know you have to do. And that's what the universe is trying to tell you. It's plain and simple.
Carrie says, My son with autism has been going through major changes and having a difficult time adjusting. Is there something going on that I don't know? He refuses to do work at school, but he has written a 500-page anime comic book.
Then something
Yeah.
then something at school is really bothering him. There's something or someone at school that is really putting him to task, and he's not liking it.
What was the comic book?
Doesn't matter.
Manga? It's a good thing.
That's not the point.
Okay.
You know, there's something that's going on in school because he's obviously willing to do school. It's just that there's something about school, or someone about that school that is really putting him to task that he's not cool with. And that's understandable. Most schools really don't know how to deal with children that have some form of autism. Most of them just, we've become a nation of, well, our math scores are not as high as this country. Who cares? I don't care. Who cares? And I think, let me let you all know, Common Core math is stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. To put children through that is stupid. Whoever thought that was a good idea should be taken off of the planet, along with a few other people. That's stupid. Listen, you give children a practical way of learning things, an easy way of learning things, not put them through hell just because you feel like you can. Most children right now are very disillusioned about school. Not only is college loans a farce, but most of the teachers that are in school are not qualified to teach. A certification does not make you qualified to be a teacher. It just does not. It means you have a piece of paper that says that, you can get this job and teach these people this thing, but it doesn't make you a teacher. There needs to be real teachers in schools. People who actually know how to teach, not people who learned from a book, not people who are going to give you something that says, the steward had 5 apples, but he gave 2.5 to Sarah. Now, Sarah gave him back 1 apple. What does steward have? And then they say they have this many apples, and they say, that's wrong. We want you to round it up to the next number and then use that to solve the problem. Stupid. Okay? Comes a point in time where we have to make learning very, very simple. And there's something in school that's bothering him, really bothering him about the school. If he's that creative and he's that willing to and that disciplined to do a 500-page manga, then that means that there's a problem with the school, not him. And, he doesn't want to talk about it because he feels like everyone will blame him and not the school. And I know several young people that are going through a similar thing. You got to understand, these people that are going to college and doing it, they're going to college on an illusion. The illusion is that they're going to go to college and that college is going to assure them a living, and it doesn't. It didn't assure me a living. It didn't assure anybody that I knew a living, unless they came from some debutante type family, that they could buy their way into something. We have to seriously change our scholastic system so that it suits everybody. I even heard one of the most absurd things ever is that, they started doing safe zones in school, for people who have different sexual orientations. That's ridiculous. School is supposed to be a safe zone. There shouldn't be segmented out safe zones. Little girl got told she couldn't be in the LGBT safe zone because she wasn't gay. And all she was doing was sitting there reading a book. That's ridiculous. All of school is supposed to be safe. When we start segmenting things like that, what's next? A straight zone, a white zone, a black zone, a Hispanic zone, safe zone? That's ridiculous. School is the safe zone. And if there's a problem in the school, it needs to be taken out. So we really need to change our scholastic system. There's a bunch of people that are being responsible for our children that don't have it. Okay, they just don't have it. They couldn't reach a child if the child reached out and slapped them. So I say it's the school, not your boy. He's got enough on his plate without the school doing something to make him feel worthless. Hope that helps you out. Take the school to task. What do you got for me next?
Oh, okay. That's Katie Kenny. Katie Kenny was on. Wow.
Hey, Katie.
She says she left and she said, "Miss you. See you on Friday."
Okay.
Liliana says, "Thanks, Z."
No problem.
And
By the way, I want to say one more thing. We have become a nation of anger, and I'm kind of tired of it. It doesn't matter what your color is or what your orientation is. We are human beings. We are, in this country, Americans. We are equal. We're supposed to live in the land of the free, which basically means that you are free to do whatever you choose to do as long as you're not hurting someone or causing somebody else some, crime pain. A person's color should never be an issue. A person's race or religion or their sexual orientation should never, ever, never, ever, ever, never, ever, ever, what did I just say? Ever be an issue. If it is, if someone tries to make it an issue, you need to get the hell away from that person. Seriously. If someone looks and says, well, China does this, you need to say, you don't have a clue what China does. All you've been doing is listening to Fox News. I don't want to hear it. Or the Muslims do it. You haven't a clue what the Muslims are doing. Unless you're a Muslim, you don't have the frickin' right. Well, the gays are, you don't know. Shut up. You have not one clue unless you are gay. Well, black people, you quiet. It's enough. You don't know. It is best. Or you say, you say, well, white people this and white people shit. You don't know. Shut up. Shh. Quiet. See, because you could run up on someone who's like black, native, Polynesian, and Irish. Which side are they supposed to agree with? Well, they could be Costa Rican, they could be Chinese, and all the world into one. What? They could be black, and they could be gay. So who are you going to agree with or disagree with? It's best to just refuse to make it an issue. Are we all clear on that? Good. Wonderful. Then we shall all get along. So we should all start a campaign. No more discrimination of any type. And if someone posts discriminatory things on your little Facebook thingies, unfriend them and then block them. It will shock the hell out of them. Just a thought. Anyway, that's enough of me ranting. What have I got?
We have a question from Leanne.
Hello, Leanne. How are you?
Oh, wait, no, sorry. We have a question from Allison first. And then
okay.
Allison says, our question is, you know that we are not happy in our current location and we are really doing everything we can to relocate. Do you see it happening soon? I do see it happening soon, but you're going to have to stay diligent about it. There's some things that you need to learn, and we've discussed that. You can use that.
to make things happen. But we really have to get about doing it, okay? I mean, the magic is there. You just have to make it happen. I know that it's going to. It's the force. The force is already pulling you. And I know that you feel it, so you might as well just give into it and make it happen. Okay? Yes, I do see that very soon. Just start planning it that way. Start planning on it. Have you been here? If you've been here, you've looked at some places here where you want to be. I hope. You know, if you make that decision, then the universe will start fixing things. But remember, when you get the opportunity, you have to go for it. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of help. Who asked about synchronicity earlier? Chu. Okay, I'm going to help both of you here. Listen, when the universe presents an opportunity, you're supposed to take that opportunity. Okay. Especially if it's what you want. Let's say that you're going to move to Maine, okay, and you have an opportunity to move to Maine. Something will come up. You're supposed to go in and investigate that right away and see if it meets your criteria. If it meets your criteria, you got to find a way to nail it down. Okay, remember, because it's all up here, and it's in space and in the air, but the moment that you nail it down, it gives it a hook. It's like an anchor into what it is that you're going to do. Okay, you've been looking for we've been looking for a land, we've been looking at this house, but you haven't set up a meeting for any part of land, so it's still up there. You set a meeting so that you can go there and get that energy shifting that way. Kind of same thing I did with my bakery. I took an opportunity, and then all of a sudden another opportunity arose, and then I went for that opportunity, which led to another opportunity. That's what synchronicity is. You have to be right there at the right moment and then take that opportunity. You may not have to decide 100%, but at least you're cooperating. That's when everything moves according to the way that you want to. It's kind of like there used to be this game that if you hit a certain block, the other blocks would line up. That's kind of what happens. But you have to participate. You have to say, okay, I'm deciding that I know that this could happen if I decide I'm going to be there. I'm going to go for it anyway. or I'm going to go for it because I see this thing happening. I'm just going to go for it. And then you'll get yourself here. You will. Just go for it. Don't fight it.
Ha ha ha. We have, let's see. Carrie says, "Thank you, Z. That helps."
No problem. You need to come see me, little girl.
Natalia says, "It is an issue, though. Always, you can't get away from people and their thoughts. Even if they don't say it with their mouths, they are thinking hateful things."
You're right. They are thinking hateful things. But remember this: you don't have to participate in their hate. What you do is you spread the common sense. Okay. And you're right. You can't necessarily get away from it, but you can evolve above it. I'll tell you guys an old native story. Okay. And I won't do my voice. I'll just tell the story. There's a dramatic thing about the hawk. The hawk can best just about every bird in the air. However, sometimes it chooses not to. You ever notice the little birds that fly whenever the hawk gets near their nest, or they just want to harass the hawk? The hawk could easily turn around and kill them, but 9 times out of 10 it chooses not to. It just keeps flying, and what it does is it begins to fly in these circles higher and wider until the bird can't follow it anymore. And sometimes it's best to just do that. People will eventually get the message. They will. You just have to be patient with yourself. And you have to be diligent with yourself. You cannot be weak. You cannot make excuses for that person. You cannot. Now, your compassion for people will cause you a lot of times to, well, maybe they were just being, no, no, no. Otherwise, they will take all kinds of liberties with you. It's very simple. Ugly people need to find other ugly people. Let them go find their own. I'm sure that there's an ugly person for every ugly person.
There's somebody for everybody.
That's right. So just let them find them.
Okay, I'm ready for the next question. Yeah. The next question is from Leanne. Hi, Leanne. How are your kids? With the dove.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know she is.
Hey. Anyways, this is my first time visiting, so I'm not really sure what to ask. It's okay. Good. Glad you joined.
Yeah.
I would really like to know if Fidel will be reuniting with us when I'm done with all of the steps required by the immigration customs enforcement.
I'm sure he will. I'm sure that he will. Just make sure you're doing everything that you possibly can. And do not take no for an answer. Okay? Just do some of the things that I've told you to do. We've discussed some things. Just stay on it. Okay, you're doing good so far. Keep going. And tell the little ones I said hi.
Mm-hmm. Carrie says, thank you, Z, that helps. I think I said that. Amy has a question.
Okay.
Oh, Allison says, thank you.
No problem.
Amy says, how do adoptees and those who adopt them come together? Is there any rhyme or reason, or is it purely random?
Well, I don't think that anything is purely random. However, there are some random marks, but I think that it has to do with vibration. You will attract to you what suits your vibration, okay, especially when it comes to adoption. That vibration of that child will find something in your vibration, or you will find something in that child's vibration. And that's the metaphysical end of it. Remember, there's an old thing that says, they like to say this a lot, that opposites attract, and that's not necessarily so. That's only in, those little magnet things. But like will attract like. There's something that attracted you to this child. And, metaphysically speaking, it could have been because that was the child that you might have had, that someone else had. And they weren't capable of taking care of that child that you might have had in another circumstance. It's a huge explanation. Remember, there are so many different possibilities. There are people that you might have met that you did not meet, or because someone else was there. And it's a huge thing. And I need about 2.5 hours to actually explain all of the dynamics. But a person like myself that can see a person's karmic record understands the connections that you have with so many different people, and maybe that child was the one loose end that should have been with you, but the universe saw fit that you would actually be able to meet that child in an adaptive situation. So you wound up with that child. It's really quite intricate. It's actually kind of when you think about it, it can be rather exciting. That's why when people say that they're insisting on having a child, and I ask them, well, what's wrong with adopting? Just, do you feel like it has to come from your body? I mean, because it doesn't always. I mean, there are children that may not have come from your body, but they are yours that are out there. I have all kinds of kids. I do. I have a lot of kids. This one's just stuck with me.
This one has a name. Thank you.
This one's. I just told you what your name was. It's this one.
Not this one.
Yes.
Not
this is my Nirikazi.
Oh my God.
See?
Ling, help me,
Did you
Ling.
like it better when I said this one?
I did. Thank you.
Okay. Just I have tons of kids out
Here
there.
comes Ling.
You know, and
Ling.
that's okay. That's okay, because the ones that do gravitate towards me, I know aren't my kids, or they would have been my kids. You know, so
You would have had a lot of kids.
I had a whole lot of kids,
Dude, yeah.
and I would have been one happy man too.
No.
Yes,
No.
thousands of them.
That's not okay.
It is okay. It's okay.
Leanne says,
That's why I tell people, listen, if you don't want your kid, you know, you don't want your child, don't do stuff to the kid. Just give them to me. I'll take them. I'll help you. Especially little girls.
Okay.
Okay. Go on. Sit down.
We said little girl, and Ling's like, me?
Sit down.
Me? I'm your little girl.
Sit down.
I'm here. That's right, Ling. You're his little girl. That's right. Leanne says, I get it completely. No is not in my vocabulary, and I try to stay strong for everyone. I need to keep fighting. Thank you. We'll stop by some Sunday.
Good.
All right. Amy says, you said that very thing to me years ago, and it inspired me. Thank you. That was incredible. Thank you.
Good. Then take up thine inspiration and go forth, soldier.
Oh. Okay.
What else have we got?
Leanne says that the kids are doing great.
Awesome.
And that is it. It is 8:08.
Great.
Oh, one more question from
Okay.
Marshall.
All right. Hey, Marshall, how you doing?
Is it better to isolate and invoke a holy force or meditate on the highest principle?
It is better to meditate on the highest principle, because you can't really invoke a holy force. The holy force invokes itself because of your meditation on it. But it is better to meditate on that highest principle. That way, you don't segment yourself off from that principle. You are one with that principle. Always better to do it that way. Good to hear from you. Okay, anything else at all? There we go.
Yeah, we do. We have one more. Rebecca says, occasionally I get a sensation in my ears, not necessarily a sound. It's something similar to the static feeling when you enter a room with the TV on. The sound off, you still
that's
feel
the
it.
frequency change.
Does that make sense? It's like a change in air pressure, kind of. What causes that sensation?
That's
Why does
called-
no one else in the room
That's called a
experience it?
frequency change, and a frequency change will affect different people in different ways. You may hear a frequency, but nobody else does, or someone else may hear it and you do not. It just depends on what is being communicated to you at that particular moment. You need to find out whether it's physical or whether it's not physical. If it's non-physical, then that means the universe is doing something with you specifically. Okay, and you will experience frequency changes with every new thought that you think, or with every habit that you break, or with every thing that you learn. And you may experience several different frequencies at the same time. So it's a frequency change that you're talking about, and your body is merely adapting to it. Yeah, it does. It's a lot like a television got turned on somewhere. Except for the really low ones that make you vibrate. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll take one more question.
Oh,
If anyone has it.
okay. Let's see. One more question. Well, Jew says, yes, I also feel as frequency changes when I interact with specific people or places.
Yeah, you will. Different people have different vibrations, and what you're registering is their vibration.
But
And at
Rebecca,
the same time, your vibration.
sorry, Rebecca and Jew say thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay. I would like to thank you all for joining us on Ask the Unicorn. If you have other questions, you can also type them up at www.asktheunicorn.com, or you can contact us if you'd like classes, because I do teach classes in metaphysics, spirituality, mysticism, and paranormality. And if you have a hankering to become a paranormal investigator, I will teach you. And you can reach us at www.unicorn-cove.com. Or you can give us a call at area code 207-347-5686. For those of you that would like to talk to me, you can reach me on Facebook, or you can reach me in those sites that I've given you and the number that I've given you. I do teach classes, and the classes range from 6 weeks to a year, just depends on your schedule and what you can afford. I do not teach for free. If I teach you, there will be a trade. There will be an exchange. Okay, so we can decide on what that is, and we will decide on your schedule and everything, and I'll make sure that you learn something. Okay. Beyond that, please tell your friends about the show. The more people that there are, the more questions that I can answer. This is what I do for a living. This is not my hobby. This is who I am. This is what I do, and I'm very good at it. So if you have any questions, remember to write them down, because sometimes if I'm just shooting out my energy, a lot of times it has a tendency to cause people to forget their question when they're sitting right in front of me. So it's better for you to write it down. Until next week, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Remember what I said. Stay positive. Do not tolerate negative people. Okay? Don't even tolerate negativity from yourself. You all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week on Ask the Unicorn. Tell your friends, please. Be good to each other. Unicorn out. Uh-oh. We're still here.
Yeah.
We're still here. Yeah.